Hi, welcome to the first episode. My name's Laura, or a lot of my friends like to call me Katie. I like to combine a little bit of spray paint, a little bit of acrylic pouring, just to experiment, see what we can come up with. Alright, so for today what I would like to demonstrate for y'all is this canvas painting that I did, but I put it over in just spray paint, and the only part of this original painting that's done with the acrylic pour are the arms. And I will show that technique towards the end. And so let's get started. But of course, safety first. Always use respirator, well-vented area. I was spraying outside. So grab your stencil and you just put it down where you think you might want it to be, so you know where to put the colors that you like. Enjoy the bugs in the outdoor environment. Now since I'm doing an apple, I just want a little bit of yellow in there, take a bite out of the apple kind of thing. While that's drying, I went down to the bottom corner, started putting in the light in the window, and I wanted that dusted up a little bit. I didn't want the yellow too bright. It'll pull your eye straight there. What I did was just kind of angle the can to the side and spray it over instead of directly on top, unlike with that red where I was pointing more directly over top. And you could use a bag or paper, or some people use their fingers, whatever you like to take some of that red paint off of there. I took a little too much, so I went back in and put a little bit back over it. Nice shiny red apple. Okay, time to take another break. Let all the paint dry. Once it is, you can put your stencils back over it. Try to get the edges down best you can. Now if you're using a can or something like that, it's a little bit easier. You don't have to weigh it down. You notice with the block, I'm not putting anything over it because it's heavy enough to not have to worry about paint coming in under the edges as I do the background. For the background, pick maybe 3 or 4 colors and just kind of blend them in. You use the can at different angles to get either a more direct, full pigment in the area, or kind of sideways if you're just trying to dust it, mix it up a little bit more. Just kind of have fun with it. I fussed with this one a little bit to get it just kind of how I wanted. With the canvas, it's a little, I don't know, the canvas seemed to take more paint and it dried faster, although it was so humid the day I made this video. That could be why I was having such a problem with everything drying. Now, this little brick stencil I picked up off Amazon because I knew I was going to do this project, and it popped up and as I was searching around for different things. Well, perfect. And again, I did dust over this with the darker Yankee blue just so it wasn't, I wanted to dirty it up a little bit, I suppose. And then a few more touch-ups on the background. Okay, after you do the background, you're going to have to stop, let it dry for a little bit. Hopefully it's not as humid where you are, so it dries a little faster. I tried a blow dryer and a little heat torch. I did not try the heat gun. I was worried. I tend to get carried away with the heat gun and burn stuff up. Now for the stars here, it's a little hard to see that they're coming down, but you just spray a little bit of paint on the tip of your finger, flick a little bit off to a scrap board, and then flick some over your painting. I do it from different angles just to make sure that it's kind of random. I used white and yellow paint for the stars on this. The yellow just because, I had the yellow in the apple and in the window. So after it dries, time to put the man on. I tried to weigh it down different ways, but because of some of the details, I also go back in and just kind of press down with my hand a little. And I was also kind of careful about the angle that I held the can at to try not to, I was trying to pour more straight down, both to get full coverage and to try to avoid spraying any up under the stencil. Oh, you gotta cover up mistakes sometimes. So what I did when the block pulled up a little bit of paint down in the corner, I sprayed some of that dark blue into a small cup I use for pouring usually, and then just went in with a little liner brush, touched up a little bit. Yeah, with paint, you can fix almost any mistake. Just go back over it. It's all learning. And there you just angle out a little bit with your scrap boards. Spray down a little paint, and then I went in, picked up some of that black paint with my fingertips or knuckles, and you could use paper or that plastic bag trick like we did for the apple. The arm's a little bit darker towards the center, lighter towards the edge of the canvas. I use a little bit of a flare technique where the can is pointing almost straight down when you're next to the body, and then you use your wrist and just flick your wrist up to get it to flare out and be a little bit lighter at the edges. Well, let's look what the apple turned out to be. Oh, the stencil got a little stuck because the paint was wet when I put it down. It was almost dry, so it didn't pull up too much of the paint. The heat sometimes helps get this, if something's sticking, the little heat torch there helped a little bit bring that up. So here what we got. We'll do a little bonus scene for the pouring technique. This is how I put in the arms on the original canvas, although I'm going to use white paint instead of the black because I had it made up already. I didn't want it to go to waste. I use a swipe technique, load a little bit of the extra white onto the tool, and then bring it out. You want to make sure you're only pressing down really lightly. I was a little heavy-handed in this demonstration. It was a broken fork that I used to go back in and spot in some silicone. It was just because I couldn't get a proper swipe because it was such a small area. Just make sure you wipe off the painting really well. So here we go. We got the canvas on the left, the poster on the right. Which one do you like? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for coming to the first episode. Come on back Friday for some fluid fun and acrylic pouring. Have a great week.